Emeka had always been fascinated by antique shops. He loved the smell of old books, the feel of worn furniture, and the stories that each item seemed to tell. One day, while wandering through the bustling streets of Lagos, Emeka stumbled upon an antique shop he had never seen before. The sign above the door read "Curios and Wonders," and Emeka felt drawn to it. He pushed open the door and stepped inside. The shop was dimly lit, with rows of shelves stretching from floor to ceiling. Emeka's eyes widened as he scanned the shelves, taking in the array of strange and exotic items on display. Suddenly, he spotted a beautiful old mirror hanging on the wall. It was ornate, with intricate carvings and a gilded frame. "Ah, you've found the star of the show," said a voice behind him. Emeka turned to see the shop owner, an elderly man with a kind smile. "That mirror is over 100 years old," the man said. "It's said to have once belonged to a wealthy family in Europe." Emeka felt a shiver run down his spine. There was something about the mirror that seemed off. Emeka couldn't take his eyes off the mirror. He felt drawn to it, despite the sense of unease that lingered in the back of his mind. The shop owner seemed to sense his fascination. "Would you like to know more about the mirror's history?" he asked. Emeka nodded eagerly. The shop owner leaned in, a conspiratorial look on his face. "The mirror is said to have been crafted by a mysterious glassmaker who lived in the late 1800s, he said. "Legend has it that the glassmaker made a pact with a dark entity to infuse the mirror with magical powers." Emeka's eyes widened in shock. "What kind of powers?" he asked. The shop owner hesitated before speaking. "Some say that the mirror has the power to grant wishes," he said, "but others claim that it comes with a terrible curse." Emeka felt a chill run down his spine. He wasn't sure if he believed the story, but he couldn't deny the sense of foreboding that lingered in the air. Despite his reservations, Emeka found himself buying the mirror. He couldn't explain why, but he felt an inexplicable pull towards it. As he left the shop, he felt a sense of excitement mixed with trepidation. When he got home, Emeka hung the mirror in his bedroom, feeling a sense of pride and ownership. But as he looked into the mirror's depths, he began to feel a strange sensation. It was as if the mirror was exerting some kind of influence over him. Suddenly, Emeka felt a surge of desire. He wanted wealth, fame, and power. He wanted to be the most successful person in Lagos. As he gazed deeper into the mirror, Emeka felt his desires take shape. He saw himself living in a mansion, driving a fancy car, and rubbing shoulders with the city's elite. It was then that Emeka realized the mirror's power. It was granting his wishes, just as the legend had claimed. At first, Emeka was ecstatic. He had never felt so alive, so successful. He threw parties, bought expensive clothes, and traveled the world. But as time went on, Emeka began to realize that something was wrong. He felt empty, hollow. He had no real friends, only acquaintances who wanted something from him. And then there were the strange occurrences. Emeka would see shadowy figures lurking in the corners of his mansion. He would hear whispers in the dead of night. It was then that Emeka remembered the curse. He had been so blinded by his desires that he had forgotten the warning. The mirror, it seemed, had a mind of its own. It was exacting a terrible revenge on Emeka, slowly draining his soul. Emeka knew he had to get rid of the mirror. He couldn't take the terror, the emptiness anymore. He took the mirror down from the wall, his hands shaking with fear. As he looked into its depths, he saw his own reflection staring back at him, but it was distorted, twisted. Emeka saw the evil that lurked within himself, the darkness that the mirror had unleashed. With a cry of rage, Emeka smashed a mirror on the floor. The glass shattered into 1,000 pieces, releasing a blast of energy that sent Emeka flying across the room. As he struggled to his feet, Emeka felt a sense of peace wash over him. The curse was broken, the evil vanquished. He looked around at the shattered remains of the mirror, feeling a sense of relief wash over him. The curse was broken, the evil vanquished. But as he turned to walk away, Emeka caught a glimpse of something that made his blood run cold. On the wall where the mirror had once hung was a message scrawled in red ink: "The evil remains." Emeka spun around, but there was no one in sight. He stumbled backward, his heart racing with fear. Had he really broken the curse, Or had he just unleashed a new kind of evil? As Emeka stumbled out of the room, he couldn't shake the feeling that he was being watched. The mirror may have been shattered, but its evil legacy lived on. The mansion was abandoned, left to decay. The once beautiful gardens were overgrown, the sound of crickets and birds filling the air.